Welcome to the Oasis. My name's Mike, and today I'm going to be doing another session of Ask Mike Anything. So once a month I put it out there on my social media, on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram and Twitter, and put it out there for you guys and girls to ask me anything you want about VR, or maybe just about me in general. And now I'm here with my buddy Nathie in his awesome pad, with this huge Big Daddy from Bioshock behind us. I thought this would be a great time to answer some of your questions, and maybe Nathie can chip in on his thoughts as well. And he's got a little mini mic there representing the OG classic mic pillow.
Yes.
So let's dive straight into these questions from you guys and girls, and let's have some fun. Okay, so we've got a great question here from Gamers Paradise, and he asks, what would be the pros and cons of a GTX 1050 laptop with a Rift versus the Quest? I think that's a really good question, but the problem with the 1050 and the laptop there is that you're below minimum spec in terms of what a Rift needs to really sort of run at its full potential, because really the minimum spec is a 960, GTX 960, so really you're going to be below minimum spec with a 1050 with a Rift. So unless you're really in the market to buy another laptop in the near future, maybe with a 1070 or something like more powerful, then I would say the Quest is the best bet for you, because it's going to be $400 all in. Way cheaper. You're not going to need a laptop to power it. Of course, you are sort of sacrificing some quality in the games because of that.
Yes.
So you're not going to get the full Rift experience. You're going to get a watered down Rift experience with the Quest, but still have a great time in VR.
Yeah.
So I would say on your specification alone of the laptop, I wouldn't go with the Rift and go below minimum spec. I would recommend going for the Quest instead. So I hope that answers your question. So this is a question from JM's World. Do you think the Oculus Quest will be successful and that devs will keep making games for it like they do with the Rift? Absolutely. You know, I think the Quest is going to be a big success. I think it's super affordable at the $400 price point. It's essentially like the VR console. That's kind of the way I see it.
Yeah, like a handheld VR headset.
Yeah, exactly. You know, so if you're in the market, say for Christmas or a birthday, and you want to get a console, you've got an option there. You can get an Xbox One, you can get a PS4, or you can get an Oculus Quest and really sort of dive into the games and experience them like really immersive gameplay yourself. So I would say, yeah, I think it's going to be a huge success, and I think developers now that are making games for the Rift, it's very easy for them to port their game over to the Quest, because that was a big talk at Oculus Connect 5 and how they can make that easier for them. So really, if they're making games for Rift, then they're going to be working on the Quest as well, I'd imagine.
You still need to buy the games.
Yeah, of course.
It's not like if you have the Rift version and you have the Quest one automatically, you still need to...
Yeah, we don't have any information on like cross-platform buying of applications just yet.
Maybe next generation.
Possibly, but they're separate ecosystems right now, aren't they? And I think they'll remain that way. So I hope that answers the question there. So this is a question about editing from Mame Fan, and they ask, what video editing software do you use? Well, we use Adobe Premiere, right?
Yeah.
I think it's pretty much the go-to standard in terms of YouTube. There's other ones out there like HitFilm Pro, is it?
Mm-hmm.
But
I think if you're like starting off, well, Windows Movie Maker doesn't exist anymore, right?
No, I don't think so.
That's my first program, so.
Yeah.
But I think like Pinnacle Studio is a nice one. Final Cut is super easy. Yeah. And also Sony Vegas. I think that's
Sony Vegas is another one. Yeah. But the cool thing about like Adobe Premiere is like I just pay for it monthly, so it's like every month I pay for it in a package with Adobe Premiere.
And it all works together too.
It all works together. So Audition if you're doing audio, Photoshop for making nice thumbnails and editing pictures, and then Premiere for editing video. And there's so many guides, especially on YouTube, of like how to do tips and tricks, and that's pretty much how I learned how to use Premiere, was through researching on YouTube. So if you're looking for an editor, I would suggest Premiere. I think it's the easiest one. So I hope that answers the question. This is a question from GR on YouTube, and they ask, do you think it's better to get a Pimax 5K and use it with a GTX 1080 Ti, or buy a 2080 Ti first and keep using my Rift? I'm curious as to both the 2080 Ti and the Pimax are being new, but they're both a lot of money, so what would you suggest?
I mean, we tried the Pimax.
Yes.
On a 1080 Ti.
Yes.
And it works.
Yes.
Fine.
Yeah, and that was the 8K actually.
Yeah.
So with the 5K plus, you're going to get that little more performance headroom there. So I would say, keep keep the 1080 Ti and go for the Pimax 5K plus. But although we tried out the Pimax and we think it's a decent headset, like for me personally, I don't think that wide field of view is really a bigger game changer as everyone's making it out to be. I think it's great. I think it's nice.
It depends on what you play. If it's a simulator, totally. If you like to watch movies, amazing.
Yeah.
But let's say if you play Beat Saber or something that is like happening in front of you and there isn't that much going on with the like sides, then
Exactly. Yeah, Nathie pretty much hit the nail on the head there. If it's cinematic experience and watching movies in VR that you do, then go for it. And if you're a sim racer or sim flyer or space simmer, then go for it. But you have to just note that the peripheral vision on the Pimax, it's distorted at the edges and it can actually cause motion sickness again. Even if you're used to VR like we are, we actually found that we were getting a little bit motion sick trying to adapt to that wider field of view with the Pimax again. Yeah. So although I think the Pimax is more legit than I probably thought it was before I got to try it, I'm still not 100% convinced that the wider field of view is really necessary right now. Mm-hmm. So it's really a decision you have to make, and depending on what kind of games you play. But yeah, if you're interested, you can run a Pimax 5K on a 1080 Ti and you should have pretty decent performance. So hopefully we've given you enough information to make an informed decision for yourself. Okay, so this is a question from Emma Scott, and she asks, now with the standalone Odyssey, the Vive and the Quest having 6'd off, what do you think will be the best standalone headset? And I guess there she's talking about like the Vive Focus with 6'd off controllers. I don't think the Odyssey is standalone. Maybe she's confused with the Google Daydream 6'd off platform. But obviously we've got the Quest as well, and then you've got this Shadow Creator VR headset as well.
Yeah.
Well, what do you think?
I think right now you can't really say that yet because most of them are not out.
No.
So at this moment there is no standalone ecosystem yet.
Yeah.
But if that's there, then we can finally see who's,
Yeah.
So for now, I think it's too early
to
really make, to grab one headset and say, this is it.
Although, based on maybe previous history, and the fact that we've tried the Quest, maybe I'm a little bit biased, but because I've tried the Quest, I think it's a great headset, and I know it works.
Yes.
And I trust the Oculus ecosystem. It's a decent platform. They're investing a lot in developers, whereas the other platforms don't seem to be doing that right now. So, if I had to throw something out there and say one of them, I would say the Quest right now, but that's because that's the only one I've tried. Yeah, so next year is going to be a very interesting year for sure when it comes to standalone VR, I think.
It's like the war of the standalone headsets.
It is.
It's like a new Star Wars.
Yeah. And I think that's great for us as consumers because we get a wider choice, loads of platforms for developers to put their games on so they can make more money, and then the industry just grows in general, so it's good for everyone. But who will be the ultimate winner? Well, we don't know quite yet, but if I was going to be a betting man, you know who I would choose. So, question from Justin Arnold. Do you still use your TPCast, and what's your opinion on wireless VR in the near future? And that's a good question because recently I stopped using it. And a lot of people were asking why. Yeah, and it's not probably for the reasons you think. Because I was a fan of wireless VR. I use the TPCast, I use the Vive wireless adapter, and I said that wireless VR is the future and I wouldn't go back to using a cable, but yet I have. And there's a good reason for that, and that's only because wireless VR is actually quite CPU intensive.
It is.
Both the Vive and the TPCast is. I think the Vive even more so because I'm using the Vive Pro. But what I found was when I was streaming, in particular, which uses your CPU to render the footage and then stream it over the internet for YouTube and Twitch, that I was hitting a bottleneck which was causing performance issues in my game. And that's why I stopped using the TPCast, purely because I want to stream more. So if I wasn't streaming or I wasn't a content creator, I would still be using these wireless solutions, but because of the situation I'm in, I chose not to. So I still think wireless VR is completely legit, and I would still recommend it, although the TPCast is difficult to recommend because of the amount of setup involved and the fact you have to use open TPCast really to get the best out of it. But the Vive was a great experience setting up. It was very easy to use, but you've used the Vive wireless adapter as well, right?
Yeah, no, it's great, but it is very intense.
Yeah.
Plus, like recently, they also found out that with AMD, it doesn't even completely. So it's still very early stuff. Even though it looks consumer ready, it's still like testing the grounds and see what PC can handle it. But it is quite intense. To run a wireless adapter. Yeah,
and the other thing to note is the fact that the Vive wireless adapter, if you're using an OG Vive, it can get very hot and it's actually burnt some people, right?
Yes.
So like with the Vive Pro, we never had that issue because they supply some additional padding. So we never noticed this problem when we were reviewing these units. But it turns out for the OG Vive units, this is a problem. So it'll be interesting to see what Vive do in the future, where they add a pad maybe in the boxing for future. But I hope that kind of clears it up and answers the question for you.
That's why you're wearing this.
Yeah, exactly.
It protects your head.
To protect my head. The head crab protects me from
the catching up all the heat.
The hot wireless adapters. Okay, so this is a cool question actually. What was the first VR game that you played ever?
That's an interesting question. First of all, it was like some kind of strange demo on the DK1, on the Oculus Rift Development Kit one, where there were two robots walking through a street. It was just showing off the sense of scale, where you were super small and there were just two tall robots just like running around. It was just a loop.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Was it like mind-blowing?
It was in a way, but after that you start to play things with your controller, like, oh, I'm moving now and I'm shooting things.
Yeah.
But it was like weird. Really weird. It was just my first like quick test. I was like looking into it. It's like, whoa, okay, this is. I got very curious for more. That's for sure. Yeah.
Like I remember, for me, it was using the DK1 as well, and I think the one that really stood out for me is the helicopter one, and I can't remember what it's called. It's like maybe like Heli Island or Copter Island or something like that. But basically, you were in a helicopter and you could fly over an island. But the weird thing was you could like look out and look down.
You control it also with your head.
Yeah, and it got you like super motion sick. But like the sense of scale and the sense of height, at that point I was completely sold on VR because I was like, I actually feel really high. And you get that feeling in your gut when you're really high, and I don't like heights anyway. So that was the kind of the first experience that I used the DK1 that really sold me on the concept of VR, and then I knew straight then that I was going to buy the consumer VR headset as soon as it was ready, which I did. Yeah, okay. And that was a question from Azra Films. It's a good question, absolutely. So this is a question on Twitter from Sweeviver. He asks, is Logan right? Is the Earth flat? I don't believe so, no.
I'm not sure.
I'm pretty sure science has told us that the world is round. So Logan Paul, if you're listening, I'm sure you tune in every week. You're wrong, dude. So question from VR Bug on Twitter. Hey Mike, if you could VRify any pancake game, what would it be and why do you love that game? I'll let you answer this one first because I think I know what you'd probably say.
I'll show you. Here. This.
Yes. He's hugging his big daddy right now.
Oh, and also Infinite, because this is Bioshock 1. So then just go for the whole bundle, like VR bundle, Bioshock 1, 2, Infinite. Also the DLCs. Oh, and the multiplayer in Bioshock 2, where you can play as a Big Daddy or like a splicer, and you can,
You've triggered him now. Like he loves Bioshock. You don't understand how much he loves Bioshock. There's a picture of like Elizabeth on the wall here.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm obsessed. I'm addicted.
He is. But that would be pretty badass, actually. Like if you were using like the plasmids and stuff and seeing the way they like change your hand and like affect your hand. That would be really cool to see that and look down at it in VR. That would be next level.
Yeah, being like a Big Daddy would be super cool. Being Jack would be super nice, and then also being a Booker in Infinite would also be super epic, because then you can use the skyhook to. So.
Yeah. For me, I think like something like The Division. You know, like I got really obsessed with The Division. You know, like a big open world, players can just drop in and out. You have like a competitive like dark zone in the middle where you can jump in if you want to, but you have to actually traverse the world to get there. And it was such like a beautiful environment because it was like New York in the winter and it was really cool. And I really got obsessed with that game for quite a while. So something like that in VR where you can just kind of drop in, explore, save some civilians, do some single player stuff or play some co-op stuff, and then you've got this like multiplayer area in the middle that you can just walk to and jump in. That would be really, really nice, but I think we're probably a little while away from that. But I'd love for Ubisoft to adapt The Division into VR. That would be just next level for me. So hope that answers the question, dude. Okay, so this is a good question. Question from Brand Toast on Twitter. Do you think the VR market is now getting oversaturated with all the headsets, and that they're going to confuse potential customers? You know, you've got the Vive, Vive Pro, Rift S possibly, Quest, PSVR, Pimax, Shadow VR, Valve, StarVR, Xtel, Windows MR headsets. What do you think?
I don't think so, because still most consumers don't even know what a Rift is, for example, or what a Vive is, or I think the names could be sometimes confusing. If you start getting into VR and you start hearing about it, you're like, hey, what is a Rift? What is a Vive? What is this? What is that? And you're like, I don't know what these names are all about. And let's say if they have their websites well set up and you can see the specs and the differences, fine. I mean, I have the same issue sometimes with other hardware I want to buy. I'm like, what does plus mean? What does HD mean? Or, you know, but sometimes it is confusing. Like, you know, the mixed reality platform was kind of confusing, but if you look at it now, it's quite clear of what it is and but sometimes it takes a while.
Yeah, and I think, you know, just like any other tech products that I'm interested in, I tend to go to YouTube and look for other people's advice, you know, like MKBHD or, you know, like Casey, or, you know, if he's reviewing some stuff, Unbox Therapy, you know, so I'm sure it's the same in VR that people look for people on YouTube to kind of
first reaction usually, like you can go to the website like, I want to have this, let me look it up, and then you discover other versions, and then those people also made videos about that, so you can just get a comparison. And there's so many comparisons on YouTube. Yeah. So many comparisons of like Odyssey versus Pimax versus this. And it's like a chain of like reactions and like comparisons.
But I can understand like the confusion because it's not as clear cut as like the console market is right now. You know, you've got PlayStation, you've got Xbox, and you've got Nintendo. There's kind of just three of them there. Yeah. It's kind of like an easier choice to make, whereas like you say, there's like a dozen.
There are like different genres within the VR market where it's like you have mobile, you have now standalone, that's like new, that's completely new now. Yeah. And then you have medium-end PC stuff, and you also have high-end PC stuff. Yeah. You have also Ultra, where it's, you know, StarVR level and Xtel. So there are so many different genres, and within those genres, you have different, you know, types as well, where it's like, you know, Vive, but then you have like an updated Vive, or with the PlayStation, like the first PlayStation, but you also have an updated version now. So it's like but if you get more into it and you take your time to kind of look at what people say about it and what the videos are, then you should be fine. It takes some time, to do some decent research and get to understand, especially if you're like starting from scratch.
Exactly, yeah. I can understand it could be a bit overwhelming for someone right at the very beginning, going like, I don't even know where to start here. Yeah. But I think YouTube, there's a lot of information out there on YouTube from content creators about VR, so that would be the best place to start. That's how I would start if I was.
That's why you should watch Mike.
Yeah.
He's helping you right now.
Well, I try my best, but hopefully that helps. So this is a question from Taborn or Anderson on Facebook. And he said, I was sitting on a flight watching 7 Pounds on my Oculus Go. The movie was surprisingly emotional. What is your best advice on preventing the foam from becoming all wet when soaking up all my very masculine tears? Good question. And hats off to you, dude, for wearing a Go on a plane. You know, that's pretty like next level. I'd love to just be a fly on the wall and see what people's reactions are of someone wearing a Go on a plane, because I've never tried it myself yet.
A fly in a plane?
Yeah, a fly on a wall in the plane.
I've never seen a fly in a plane before.
You know what I mean.
If I did see a fly in a plane, I would know it would be you because I've never seen one before.
Well, there you go.
But yeah, that's a good one. I think that, having VR covers is gonna offer a solution.
Yes.
Because they soak up a lot of tears.
They do, and that you can wipe those tears away. They've just released a VR cover for the Go, actually. Mm-hmm. That's actually pretty legit, and I sort of said it was really nice for developers, power users of the Oculus Go, that use it a lot, and certainly for those that swap it amongst your friends and family.
Yeah.
I think it's kind of one of those things.
Especially if you share it with other people. Yeah. You want to have some cover.
Just because you can
put them in the washing machine as well.
Yeah, and you can just wipe them down super easily. So that's what I would say is maybe look into a VR cover for your Oculus Go if you want to sort of wipe away your tears.
Yeah.
Yeah. Manly tears.
No, there's nothing wrong with crying in VR.
No.
Because no one sees it, so you just hide it.
Exactly. Yeah. There you go. So here we go. We've got a final question from Roomscale on YouTube. What do you think?
Roomscale?
Yeah.
That's his name.
Roomscale. Roomscale.
That's a great name. I like that.
What do you think about the price of the StarVR One?
Whoa.
Well, because that is like, what, $3,200?
Yes.
And that's just the headset, nothing else.
You're buying like a big adventure for that price.
Very big adventure.
Very big adventure.
But it's not for consumers, though, right?
No. It's for like enterprises.
Yeah.
It's also for people that do simulations, stuff like that.
Yes.
But I mean, there are some crazy people out there that are a consumer and are like, I'm just gonna buy this.
Yes.
But I'm not sure if you can with the StarVR because they do want to know if you are a developer and not in a way where you like do a little tick like, oh hey, I'm a developer. No, they also want to know what you're gonna work on and they really want to hear your story. So if you're gonna be like, hey, I want to make Pac-Man in VR, then they're gonna be like, maybe we should not,
Yes.
But no, it's not for consumers. You're right.
No, but the thing is, like, you could, if you got your hands on one as a consumer, you could actually use it because it's Steam VR compatible.
Yes.
Although you don't get base stations, you don't get controllers with it, you just get the headset, but it has got this 210 degree field of view, which is like pretty much your natural eye field of view, so that's pretty next level. And it's got 130 degree field of view vertical field of view, which is crazy. And everyone that we know that's tried it has said it's like the big daddy of VR, right? Like it's the headset to have, of course, but this is just an indication of the future for us. One day it'll be trickling down.
Mr. Roomskill wants to maybe get this StarVR, but what about the StarVR XT? You're kind of, you're getting. This is the next big thing.
Yeah, even the StarVR One is old now.
Like soon, you have like a StarVR where like the field of view goes from here to like the back.
360. Yeah, because like StarVR are working on the XT now as well.
Yeah,
and I think that's even more next level. But if you're not familiar with the StarVR, it does feature eye tracking in there. It's for auto IPD adjustment, so it automatically measures the distance between your eye pupils and adjust it accordingly. So that's kind of where you get an idea of that this is really a headset for arcades, so when multiple users are using this device, it'll automatically adjust to their eyes.
It's like noob proof.
Exactly, yeah. And I think that's great. I'd love to see these in the Void or something like that. I wonder if they will upgrade to these headsets in the future.
Yeah.
That'd be interesting.
Yeah.
But they also suggest that you're going to need a 1080 Ti bare minimum, but I think really you're probably going to need much, much higher than that. Not even a 2080 Ti, I think, is going to really,
Maybe you need like 4.
You're probably going to need multiple of them.
Yeah,
exactly. But, although it's out of our reach, it's definitely interesting because, like I said, this technology always starts at the enterprise and then trickles its way down to consumers eventually.
I think Roomscale is now walking out of the store with like 4 TIs.
How many? No, we worked out actually on the F Reality podcast. Just plugging it there, representing it.
Yes.
But we worked out, actually, that you would be able to buy 17 Oculus Go's for the price of a single StarVR One. That's at the reduced price because they're on sale at the moment on Black Friday.
But you're not going to tape like 17 Oculus Go's together to get that
I would like to see that picture. Yeah, I would like to see that picture.
Hey guys, look at me. I'm having my own StarVR with 17 Oculus Go's.
Yeah, Mr. Oculus Go. So I hope that answers a lot of your questions, and I hope you guys and girls enjoyed this episode of Ask Mike Anything. It's been awesome hanging out with Nathie in his pad, epic pad with the big daddy behind us.
You want to hug it too?
Yes, of course. Let's give the Big Daddy a hug before I end the video.
How does that feel?
Feels very rough.
I know.
He doesn't, I don't think he likes it.
No.
But yeah, so I hope you guys and girls enjoyed this one. I'll do this again in about a month's time. I'll put the questions out there for you to ask me anything you want. It could be VR or just personal to me. And yeah, we can have some fun again in the future. So leave a like if you like the video. Make sure you're subscribed for all my future content.
Hit the bell.
And as always, I'll see you on the next one. Cheers.
Bye-bye.
Yeah.